It's a daunting task to write about the emotions of non-human animals. When I was writing When Elephants Weep, I was lucky enough to spend time in the field, watching the behavior of wild animals and talking with people who spend their adult lives doing the same. I can't tell you how many times I ask myself, what on earth are you doing, Mason? Just because you're a trained psychoanalyst, you think you can tell instinctual behavior from emotional behavior? These aren't humans. They don't think like we do, or do they? Well, the only way anyone can answer that question is to spend a lot of time with them, talk to those who study them for a living, and have a very open mind. And even then, you might only get a small glimpse of what they're thinking. There are billions of farm animals in the United States alone, and many times that amount around the world. Nearly all, however, are born and bred to be killed and eaten. And I can only guess the emotional impact this has on them every day of their lives. Where would I be able to find animals that are free to think and feel more naturally, where they're not completely stressed out from the factory farming ordeal? Thank goodness for the internet. I didn't realize how many sanctuaries there are around the world for farm animals. But there it was, listed in detail for anyone to find. I didn't have to scroll too far down the alphabetized list to find one right in my own backyard. Animal Place in Vacaville, California, just an hour from my Berkeley home. That's as good as any place I can think of to start.
Come on, Oliver. Come on.
Come on.
Come on, sweetie.
Kim Sturla is the co-founder of Animal Place.
Kim, this is a beautiful place.
Thank you. It is, and especially this time of year when it's so green, it's just it's gorgeous.
So do you mean to tell me that all the animals here have been rescued?
Each one has really come from, a different situation. Some auction yards, actually some from research laboratories. And every animal, there was nowhere else for them to go. So we're really kind of their last resort here.
So you would say that every animal here has had some history of personal abuse?
Most of the animals here, if not all, have had a real tough beginning. And it's just that much more important that once they get to Animal Place that we try to provide them with a secure, loving environment where they're going to live out the rest of their lives.
And do some of them, can you tell they've been abused in the way they react to you, or does it differ for each and every animal?
Each and every one. Venus, one of the pigs, she was terribly abused, and we got her as an adult. It has taken her years. She's in her about 13 years old now, and only the past couple of years will she actually let me pet her and be relaxed.
So it's a question of trust.
It's all about trust.
Do you think she looks at you and thinks, I don't trust this species, but this woman, Kim, she seems okay? Do you think they have thought processes like that?
My gosh, without a doubt.
Obviously, I wouldn't need to convince you that these farm animals have emotions.
There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that those animals have a wide array of emotions, very similar to dogs and cats. And then Sally, she was the dump on the road by
If I'm going to write about them, then I have to get to know them. And to get to know them, I first have to meet them. My first farm animal experience, and what a treat. Two of Kim's favorites, Val and Susie.
Hello, sweetie girl. And they don't have tusks.
Oh, the males do.
The males do.
Huh?
Are the males different than the females in terms of their temperament?
No.
They're also sweet.
Oh, very.
Good-natured, and you can play with them.
And here's my favorite, Jeffrey. She is the sweetest pig one could possibly meet, Susie.
Susie, come here, Susie. Susie.
They had their little difficulties introducing them.
Oh, so they weren't together. Oh, Susie.
What makes this experience so special for me was learning from Kim about Val and Susie's history. If not for Animal Place, their lives would be different indeed. In fact, they wouldn't be alive at all.
little Susie and Valerie were pigs that were born inside a research laboratory. A cage is all they knew. You have to understand that these little pigs had never been outside.
Right. Okay, who wants to be cooled down? Come on.
They had never felt the sunshine on them. They had never had the ground to root in. They'd never had grass. They had always lived their entire life inside a little cage measuring probably 4 feet square. That was their existence. So they came to Animal Place and were a bit in shock because there were all these other animal sounds and they all of a sudden had freedom. They could do whatever they wanted to do. They arrived during the summer months, and I quickly found that one of the things they love to do is to be cooled off when it gets too hot.
Get you cooled down.
Normally, Val and Susie would be cooling themselves off with mud baths, as pigs do, but they were recently spayed, and the stitches hadn't healed yet, so we wanted to keep them clean. So when it gets real hot here, I make these big, huge ice cube blocks in our freezer, and I call them over to me, and I just rub them down with ice cubes, and they thoroughly, thoroughly enjoy it. As I think almost any kid would when it's a hot day if they can't jump in a pool. And yeah, just ice them all down and we just kind of play.
Susie.
They get silly and romp around and I get silly with them, and it's just a playtime for both of us. People come here for tours and they think, gosh, what lucky animals. Well, you know, I see it the other way around. I mean, I feel so fortunate that I'm allowed to take care of them. I'm allowed to be in their company, that I can be with them every day and interact with them. Doesn't get much better than that to know you saved their life and ensure that the remainder of their life is going to be good.
Ned Buyukmacha, who co-founded Animal Place with Kim, is a veterinarian who teaches veterinary medicine and ethics at the University of California at Davis. Ned lives by the code that kindness and respect has to be an integral part of veterinary medicine. Joe, a steer, is but one example of Ned's philosophy.
He doesn't know if I'm friend or enemy.
Somebody who comes on the property, a total stranger, they would be more wary of them.
Is that because cows are just flighty animals?
Well, they're prey animals. Joe's a Jersey, and they're considered to be a waste because they're not going to produce milk, and unless they're of the beef breeds, then they are simply thrown away, basically. He was sent to auction as a day-old calf, and then what was going to happen to him after that, who knows? I mean, he might end up in a veal crate or whatever, but he went down.
Went down? What in the world does that mean? I asked Ned, what does he mean that Joe went down? I was totally unprepared for his answer.
Down animals are those animals who go down for various medical reasons and can't get up. Sometimes they have broken limbs. Sometimes they're just so metabolically sick. Typically, the stockyard wants to try to get money out of them, and if they can't get them up with various means, then the animal becomes trash, and they just push them aside to what's known as a dead pile to deal with later or let them die.
Joe is one of the lucky ones. Through the kindness of a total stranger, he was taken out of the dead pile and given a second chance at Animal Place.
Hi, Jessie. We're probably not going to be able to get too close to her because she'll run away.
Considering how their lives began, and for the fact that they were destined from birth for the slaughterhouse, the cows at Animal Place have learned from Kim and Ned that some humans can be trusted, although that trust has taken years to develop. and must be reinforced practically every day.
Yeah. Hi, Jessie. Hi, sweetheart. Jessie's story is one of these that you would think is made up. She was about a month old, and she was in Colorado and was being trucked to auction to be sold for slaughter, and she jumped out of the truck when the truck was going down the freeway, and she shattered her left hind leg. You can see how badly deformed it is, and she was just lying there, badly bruised and in really bad shape. And two people who were coming to visit Animal Place, Gene and Laurie Boston, happened to be on the freeway behind this truck.
Oh my God!
You could just unbelievable. And they see this little black form on the highway, and they stopped. And the farmer had stopped, of course, and the farmer did not want Jessie because she was no longer valuable to him because she couldn't be sold. She had a fractured leg. She was down. She couldn't stand up, and so he gave her to Gene and Laurie, who brought her to Animal Place. We took Jessie into my university hospital and radiographed her leg. It was very badly fractured, beyond surgical repair. And in fact, my colleague said we should kill her. And I said no. I said we'll give her a chance. We'll see what happens. We can always kill her. So we gave her stall rest. And within 2 months, she was standing up and walking on the leg.
Wow.
And within about 4 or 5 months, she was running on the leg.
Running?
Running.
What a will to live.
Yeah. Well, cows are known for their healing abilities.
Look at that. Now, Ned, you know dogs. You love dogs. You
Yeah.
live around dogs.
Uh-huh.
Do you think that cows are every bit as emotional as dogs? Just in a different way? I mean, we read dogs very easily. They communicate with us. They look the way we want them to look. They look sad. They look disappointed. They look happy. Cows are harder to read, but from what you've been telling me, they probably have most of the same emotions that dogs do.
Well, I think they do. I knew a steer once when I was in practice. He was raised like a puppy would be raised, very close to the family and isolated from other cows, so never got to know cows very well. And he was like a puppy. He ran and played, and he came running to the people, and he'd be curious. I'd be out there taking care of a sheep or somebody, and he would run up and had to check things out. And so he was expressing emotions. In a dog, you would say he's happy. Part of the problem, again, with cows is that they are not usually in a setting where they can express those emotions or be free to express those emotions. When you go to a typical situation where cows are, they're scared, they're huddled, they're nervous about human interaction, and so you see the emotion, but it's usually fear.